Bitcoin is trading about $69,000, about to crush $70,000. Now, should you trust this pump? Before I get into this, make sure you subscribe, turn on your bell notifications. Everything I say here is very time sensitive. I've been in crypto since 2016, and I hope you guys navigate the cryptocurrency space. Now, obviously the big rumor with Jane Street kind of getting sued yesterday for insider trading. They account for basically 9 figures pretty much in trading volume. They've pretty much got caught suppressing the price of Bitcoin every single time around market open. You see this 10 a.m. slam. And obviously we have Do Kwon and Terra Luna Labs, which was basically the reason why we went into this whole bear market last cycle. Basically got exposed, right? Whenever it came to Jane Street, basically suppressing the price, they traded off of insider information and crashed the whole stablecoin that was tied to Terra Luna. So there's a lot of speculation because obviously now this is the day after that they were basically sued. There's a lot of language within the whole sort of lawsuit where it just showed very, very predatory insider trading. And, people are speculating, is Bitcoin going to go up from here? It was that the reason why Bitcoin has been down for basically since October, right? And I think that there's a lot of stuff going on around, basically across the board. We have obviously the whole State of the Union speech yesterday, which in my opinion was going to be very bullish for the markets coming into today. We had the lawsuit basically announced yesterday with Jane Street. Not only that, but I think that we've just been from a technical and just fundamental standpoint, we've been due for this whole relief rally. I've been calling for that for about almost 2 weeks at this point, just because even if we are in this bear market and it's business as usual, nothing's changed, this is a typical 4-year cycle, this is about the time where we would get some sort of relief rally. And in my opinion, I think that the next level that we'd be looking at is about $84,000. That would basically close the CME gap that was put in. A lot of good technical levels around that area because it would also trap a lot of traders that would turn really, really bullish at that point. So if they wanted to send the price back lower to go deeper into this whole bear market, I think that that would be kind of a good turnaround point. And the time frame I would probably put on that is about maybe 1 to 2 weeks is where that's usually indicative of the whole bear market relief rally, right? So that's what I would be looking at in the short term. Now, I do think that things are looking good. Obviously, we have Nvidia earnings coming up today. There's this whole SaaS apocalypse with the AI bubble with Anthropic and Claude and OpenClaw. So I think that there's just a lot of things that kind of remain to be seen. And obviously gold and silver has been rallying. It seems that we're going to some sort of agreement when it comes to this whole Iran-US sort of peace talks. Obviously that's not set in stone, and I would not hang my hat on that and just bet that that's going to be resolved anytime soon. But I'm not of the opinion that we're going to have any sort of massive escalations on that. I don't think that either side wants violence. In terms of the whole, pushing us into some sort of attack, I don't think that that's going to happen. Now, obviously, there's always going to be some sort of friction going on between the countries, and I think that they're going to be pretty much just negotiating, right, for the foreseeable future, probably for the next month or so. So I don't think that anything's going to happen on that front. And like I said, I think that we're in a good position when it comes to Bitcoin because that is the catch-up trade in my opinion. I've been telling you guys that I've been dollar cost averaging and buying as much as I could basically of Solana as it's gone down a lot more than obviously Bitcoin. Again, we're not out of the woods. I do think that short-term things do look pretty bullish. I think that, at the very minimum, going back to the whole market makers, right? I don't think that this was all just Jane Street. I think that this is a narrative. And if you wanted to take some sort of this is just my hot take. Binance has been under the radar a lot lately, taking a lot of heat ever since the October sort of manipulation that they were basically, they got the blame put on them, right? Everyone thinks that it was Binance. CZ's had a black eye. Just doing damage control, turning his comments off on Twitter. And so I think that, you could look at this as, Jane Street got basically exposed for insider trading. They've been suppressing the price of Bitcoin. And simultaneously now, ever since that happened, the price is going up. You could make the case that maybe Binance is pumping the charts to make it seem like it wasn't them and making it look like it was Jane Street all along. Regardless of the case, I do think that this is good for Bitcoin. I do think that we're gonna have a catch-up trade. And again, this is not the time to just take on a bunch of risk right now. Obviously things are exciting. A lot of people are probably gonna FOMO into this. And so I would be very, very cautious. And like I said, I've made videos on how I would hedge against my positions. So obviously when things start to feel a little bit more euphoric, I'm definitely going to be taking hedges against my positions just to kind of mitigate the downside. But, I'm obviously very optimistic when it comes to the long-term time horizon of Bitcoin and crypto. So with that being said, I just wanted to hop in here, give you guys a very time-sensitive update. And again, make sure you guys are subscribed. I'm going to make another video later on. I'm probably going to do a tutorial on how I do my options hedging strategy or my just low leverage, leverage trading, right? I know that a lot of guys want to ask about that, because it's like, how can I turn, a lot of money from like a little bit of money? And I don't really advocate for like that to be your investing strategy, right? But, a lot of you guys want to do like leverage trading. And so, I am partnered with various exchanges. So my whole intention is I'm going to try to get you guys some sort of like sign up, like kind of fee. So you're not really putting up your money, so to speak. It's just like basically riding on free money, right? So with that being said, be on the lookout for that, and I will see you all soon. Bye.